It was a vibrant day here yesterday on day one. Some of you may not have been here. Across 6 venues in this location, we had some deep discussions and deliberations touching a variety of sectors, different industries, all looking into the future of Kerala. And here we are on a bright new day, and we have an energetic topic, something that excites all of us to kickstart this day, and this is about the strategic advantage for aerospace and defense innovation and collaboration. And as I mentioned, we have a stellar list of technologists, officers, celebrated people who have come here and adorning the front row now, and I'm going to bring them on stage in a moment. As we all know, the aerospace and defense sectors are undergoing profound transformation, and it's majorly driven by, of course, technological advancement as well as evolving geopolitical dynamics, right? So it is essential that we have innovation and collaboration in these sectors, and we are going to showcase some global best practices as well as successful partnerships on stage here. Speakers here will be speaking from their wealth of experience over the years and also looking into the future. So it's my pleasure to bring on stage first the moderator for this session, Shri G. Levin. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Kerala Space Parks, a man with more than 37 years of experience in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, a senior leader. Welcome, sir. Hearty welcome to the stage. Joining him on stage as a special speaker for this session is a senior scientist, a celebrated scientist of Government of India, Dr. Duvuri Sheshagiri. He's an H-grade scientist and the director of the Naval Physical and Oceanographic Laboratory, NPOL, a celebrated lab in our state, as we know, and he was serving as the head of Airborne and Spaceborne Radar Division at LRDF Bangalore before assuming charge as the 11th director of this prestigious laboratory. Hearty welcome, sir. Joining them on stage as the keynote speaker for this session, Rear Admiral Sharath Ashirwad VSM. He's the Assistant Chief of Material for IT and Services with the Indian Navy, and someone who has held a spectrum of appointments both on naval warships as well as shore establishments. Warm welcome to you, sir. And I have to tell you that he played a pivotal role in weapons and electrical engineering in the Navy, a celebrated officer of the Indian Navy. Joining them on stage, Dr. Subbarao Pavluri. Hearty welcome, sir. He is one of the early pioneers of private industry in high technology areas and founded the Anand Technologies Limited, which has become a phenomenon, as we all know, and it has now grown to an entity of more than 2,000 highly qualified technical professionals, and he's also the president of the SATCOM Industry Association of India, which helps policymakers frame policies that are relevant to the industry. Hearty welcome, Dr. Subbarao. Joining them on stage, Shri Rajneesh Sharma. He's the director of Bangalore complex of the Bharat Electronics Limited. Welcome, sir. And a special round of applause for him because he joined BEL in 1990 and he's celebrating the 35th year of his service. Hearty congratulations on that milestone, sir. And he's also the recipient of the R&D Excellence Award for the 3.8-meter VSAT antenna. Joining them, Commodore A. Madhavarao. He's the chairman and managing director of Bharat Dynamics Limited, Hyderabad. In his previous appointments at BDL, he's played a significant role in establishing a product support group to provide credible support to the Indian Armed Forces. Welcome, welcome, sir. Joining them, Mr. Jasbir Solanki. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Naval Systems, Homeland and Cybersecurity with Mahindra Defence Systems Limited. And he's also a veteran of the Indian Navy. Now, people on the stage, they're not people with just one illustrious career, more than one illustrious career. Such a powerful list of people on stage we have today. And he has held several leadership positions with both the Indian Navy as well as the Mahindra Group. And joining these men from Homeland, Mr. Bernd Zuke from Ilak Sonar. He's from Germany, but he has a similar career profile as many of them because he's currently the Joint Managing Director of Elac Sonar, but before that, he also served in the German Navy as the Lieutenant Commander. Yes, so that completes the panel for this session on strategic advantage for aerospace and defense innovation and collaboration. Before I invite the speakers one by one, I'd like our moderator, Mr. G. Levin, to make some opening remarks. Welcome, sir.
Distinguished speakers, Rear Admiral Sir Ashirwad, Dr. Dovuri Sheshagiri, Dr. Subbarao, Mr. Rajneesh Sharma, Commander Madhavrao, Mr. Jaspreet Singh Solanki, Mr. Bernard, Burnt, Suske, dear friends, distinguished delegates, investors, organizing team. After an exciting opening yesterday, we are here today to hear another exciting domain of activity going on here in Kerala and India. I will make a short presentation on the topic, to introduce the topic before the speakers. Next one. Okay, without telling the story of Indian space activities, let us come to the business first. The world of space economy, it is something around $800 billion as of now, and it is projected to grow to a $1 trillion economy by 2040. That is the minimum prediction, and the highest level I can reach even $3.5 trillion. Here, if you see the manufacturing side, the rocket and satellite, put together, it is something around 12% of the whole business. Whereas the ground segments and the application, that is the bulk of the business, and the major portion is the application segment, which is going to give you a lot of business opportunities. Say, Government of India has projected how Indian economy or Indian space economy should grow till 2040. We have a target of attaining around 8% of the world economy by 2033, that is something around $44 billion. And by 2040, we should reach 10% of the $1 trillion world economy. So that is our stated target. The next interesting domain is the aviation segment. India is stated to be the world's fastest growing aviation sector. We are the third largest in the domestic airline market. And our revenues are supposed to grow at an exponential scale with major participation in the aviation sector, especially in the high-tech manufacturing and systems development. If you see the defense, we are spending the fourth largest portion of in the world defense spending. We are ranked fourth in the world defense global military capabilities. We are targeted to get to around 1.75 lakh crore in the defense sector. And last year, our defense export, it has touched almost 30,000 crore. And government is giving enough push to expand the export component of the defense market. Now we see the ecosystem available here in Kerala. We can see the Indian Space Research Organization with three of its major centers here in Kerala and the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, or IST, here in Trivandrum. It is a major driver for the space segment. We have the BrahMos Aerospace Trivandrum Limited on the defense segment, which is supporting both space and defense. We have the Cochin Shipyard Limited, and we are having 4 international airports here in Kerala. And the declared Kochi-Bangalore Economic Corridor or Industrial Corridor, and the Outer Ring project, which is coming up here in Trivandrum, connecting the Vizhinjam port to the National Highway. They are going to drive the aviation and aerospace defense segment for the future. We have the Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation leading the industry promotion here in the state of Kerala. We have the Infra providing the infrastructure, and KSpace, or the Kerala Space Park, is a new entrant to promote industries in this particular domain. Coming to Kerala Space Park, we have the first project coming up in Pallipuram, Trivandrum, in a 20-acre land. We are going to put up the Common Facilities Center and R&D Center, which will promote the R&D, innovation, and startup ecosystem in this segment. We are also fortunate to have the MSME Advanced Manufacturing Technology Center coming up in our campus, which is going to give the support for the prototyping, short-term skill-up training activities, and the consultancy services to the new entrepreneurs. I think this particular ecosystem is automatically getting developed. In the same campus, we have the Emerging Technology Hub coming up under the leadership of the Kerala Startup Mission. Within that, we have the Defense Innovation Zone, or KSIDC. It is a collaborative effort between Technopark, Defense and Kerala Startup Mission. We have the Technopark concentrating on the software side. We have the Digital University of Kerala and the Digital Science Park, which is under construction. You see the whole ecosystem, it is going to support R&D, startup and innovation in multidisciplinary domain. We have the second project coming up in Valimala, close to IAST and LPSC, which will focus on the liquid propulsion systems, the Innovation to Product Development Center, which is taking advantage of the R&D outcomes of the research institutions to development of the products. And we are also planning to have a drone research and testing center. The third project is coming up there in Veli, near VSSC. With the support of KIFBI, we are going to acquire the area shortly. And we are planning to have the Aerospace Control Systems Complex, Aerospace Inertial Navigation and Guidance System Complex, and Aerospace Avionics Complex, and Precision and Micro Fabrication Complex, and common facilities for all these units. We have two more projects under the consideration of Government of Kerala, which will be shortly being announced. Now, coming to the collaboration, how will you take forward the collaboration in the innovation, R&D, and startup? We already have 4 MOUs with VSSC, DUK, ASAP, and ICT Academy of Kerala done. 10 more MOUs are going to be signed within next 2 months. Essentially, with the ISRO community and other R&D and research institutions, including the Anand Technology, which is with whom we are going to have the agreement done probably this month itself. And we have the membership in the major professional and business bodies already done, and we are connecting with the educational institutions across Kerala, basically to take advantage of the innovative ideas and startup proposals from the educational institutions. I think we have affiliated 53 aerospace units operating within Kerala. I think it was a big surprise for many, because like the medical equipments ecosystem, what we are talked yesterday, this was a hidden ecosystem, and we are connecting with the more people in the domain in the days to come. So at the end, by 2047, the 3 verticals, space, aviation, and defense, should be able to contribute $10 billion each to the Kerala economy. With a focused effort, I feel we can do it, and I do believe today's discussion is going to shape up our plan of action, how to support the ecosystem, how to develop the business in this domain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the opening remarks. And now, for the keynote speech, I'd like to invite to the podium Rear Admiral Sharath Ashirwad, VSM. Welcome, sir. Do you have a presentation, sir?
Yeah.
Slide.
Okay. This is just, I just have to click this, right? Yeah. Welcome, everybody. I consider it an honor to be in this forum to address this gathering in the Invest Kerala Forum, and specifically all the more reason because I am myself a Keralite, which my name normally doesn't suggest. Right. I'll cover it's a 10-minute presentation with 15 slides, and I'll cover certain aspects as to how the Navy is engaging the industry in Kerala, what are the Navy's plans for future, and how the industry in Kerala need to take advantage of this to take it forward. Plus, Keltron has been a key player for naval systems and supported by the Naval Physical and Oceanographic Laboratories in Cochin. So we'll start with the presentation. So I'll cover it under the following heads: shipbuilding projects, how CSL has been contributing to the Navy, the projects we currently have with Keltron, and engagement with some MSMEs, some key projects that we did with HMT Kochi and what would be the key takeaways. See, now this could be one of the most important slides of the day, because as you see on the slide, other than the bottommost this thing which we talk about, auxiliary vessels 14, if we remove them from the 75, it is the Navy has 61 warship programs currently running in the country. And out of the 61, all 60 are being built in India with a huge amount of indigenous content. This is, everything that is coming on board these ships, I don't think anything we are importing directly. Either it is being built in India, or it is being made through an Indian partner with at least 60% stake. That's what the government today specifies. If you look at each one of them, it is 60 ships, and I think there is no other, this is the most ambitious shipbuilding program that's currently on anywhere in the world. And these are the ones which the contracts have already been placed and they are under construction in various shipyards. Coming to which have already been approved, for which we are now going ahead for contract conclusion. Now in this, the number 185 looks huge because of serial number 5 and 6, which is the smaller ones, the fast interceptor craft and the FACs 31. If you remove that, still it is 34 ships which are currently under negotiation stage where we are going to place the orders. And in addition to this, there are another 34 warships for which the design are currently in progress. And all these, what I showed last and this one, the industry has to play a very, very vital role in supporting the Navy towards development of these. Now, the engagement with CSL, as we all know, the indigenous aircraft carrier, the first of the carriers to be built for the Navy was built by CSL. Now, CSL is executing order for 14 warships for us. And a huge number of MSMEs from in and around Kochi are involved in the project. And a lot of times, the Navy itself goes to these MSMEs later for support. Another aspect that comes is we come back to the Cochin shipyard for refits, Vikramaditya. Actually, if you have to see even the refit, the scope for refits, these 4 refits together last 2 years itself is almost 2,600 crores, which the Navy is investing with CSL. And I'm quite sure that environment of at least 2,000 MSMEs in and around Trivandrum are involved in the naval projects with Cochin shipyard. NPOL is another important segment in the Navy's indigenization program. We had the first sonar being developed by NPOL in 1980. From that time, you can see the amount of the variants that have come in. And at each stage now, even though because of NPOL, sonars are now the standard fit across all our platforms, they are a single point design and development agency for our underwater systems. And they go through a production agency. Either it could be for some systems, Keltron is a production agency. For some systems, another DPSU, but for whom Keltron becomes a sub-vendor. So essentially, the ecosystem in Cochin is critical for our underwater systems. And we've been dealing with this for almost last 20 years, and it is quite fascinating to see how with every project, the ecosystem is transitioning itself to a new level. Now, I'll just touch upon the projects with Keltron. The engagement of Navy with Keltron dates back to 1998. Even though we have in the ministry, we have something called a defense public sector undertaking. So a defense public sector undertaking generally enjoys many privileges in comparison to any other competitor or participant. But Keltron has been nominated as a single vendor for some systems for the Navy. We accord them what is called a PAC status. That means you don't go to anybody else. And we've not been keen in developing an alternate vendor because Keltron remains the main player as far as the systems are concerned. And the electromagnetic log, echo sounder, and the XPT have been provided for almost more than 100 ships to date. In addition, we sometime in early 2000s, we started a project for data distribution nets, for which also Keltron remains the mainstay today as far as the Navy is concerned. The footprint of what the Keltron provides to us is as shown in the slide. Some of them are for which we speak to them, we take directly, and some of them through any of the DPSU. So you can see it's quite a voluminous this thing, and at any point of time, probably I'm sure that orders worth 500 crores are in process for Keltron for all these things put together. Just coming to the echo sounder part of it, as I mentioned earlier, we started in 1998. Various versions have come out, and as we have seen, we've improved, and the Navy is continuously replacing them with the new variants, and this is a continuous process. And today, I think we are almost more than 100 systems installed. Same as the story when it comes to the electromagnetic log also. It's a monopoly of Keltron, and it's been kept that way, and they've been supplying systems for us. And there are some ongoing projects that we've taken up with Keltron. This is, see, the echo sounder and log that I mentioned was for the warships. Now we've started development of these for the submarines. The first of its class has already been deployed. It is now under trials. And in fact, it has cleared the trials, and we are going ahead with the order for processing the final orders for these. Active towed arrays is another segment where Keltron plays a very key role. Sonar transducers, everything that NPOL designs, the sonar transducers for the Navy comes through Keltron. The directional sonar buoys for the aircraft, this is the first of its time. It's being done in India, and we've been supporting Keltron for this particular project. The serial number 5, which is the ICS program. This is a very prestigious program for the Navy. It's an integrated combat system for the submarines. This is a program that is driven by NPOL, and today Keltron is a partner for that in this program too. And the rest is power amplifier systems. And the last one, which is the project Ashwin. This is a project which the Navy is driving directly with Keltron, because the sonar is designed by somebody else. We have formulated a particular this methodology where we can go ahead for using LOFAR detection of submarines, and this has now been implemented. We have done almost 26 odd trials. The orders are now have been placed on Keltron for delivery of this. As I said, some things we deal directly with Keltron, and there are others which come through the shipyards. When you have a large shipbuilding program, then essentially whoever supplies for these ships are benefited that way. Almost, the list would be almost 102 systems all put together. That's coming in the Keltron's way for the new projects. This is again, these are all very, see what happens is none of the other industries are willing to take up these kind of contracts because the lead time is high. Manufacturing a towed array, getting it cleared for trials is not easy. Now they are the partners, Keltron is the partners to Bharat Electronics for the towed array for ATDS Marich. The LFVDS, the low frequency variable depth sonar, is another extremely important project for the Navy. The first few of these we are procuring from abroad, but subsequently the plan is to have Keltron make these things. And the other parts I've already spoken regarding the power amplifiers and other things, which in any case is part of this thing. These are yet another, this thing, see now, if you come to serial number 3 and 4 in this, these are very specific products which probably another industry might not want to invest because the lead times are high, the risk of failure is there, and we've been partnering with Keltron for both these, for the Navy. Now coming to other MSMEs, I specifically mention about SFO because today the most advanced missile program for the ships that we do is what is called the MRSAM program. The MRSAM program was initially done in collaboration with Israel. Now Bharat Electronics is a production agency for it. So when we first did the contract, there was a stipulation which said that by the third system we should have 40% of content has to be made in India. So somewhere in 2015 when we went through the list, I was also quite surprised that a company from Kochi called SFO was manufacturing some major elements for the MRSAM program. And essentially it is all the more important because compared to everybody else, the Israelis go through a very strict auditing procedures before they qualify any firm for development for them. Lama Enterprises is also a sub-vendor to Bell. The industrial connectors Kalamesheri, plus even, you see, if you come back to Vajra Rubbers, they have been supplying transducers to us. And one area where we could use their expertise is, if you see the thing about refurbishment of foreign OEM sonar. See, typically what happens is these transducers that come from abroad, even if you place an order, the lead time is something like 24 months. And we have been able to refurbish these through Vajra Rubbers in Cochin, wherein refurbishment is done at probably 1/5 the cost, and you have the life extended by another 3 to 4 years. HMT Kochi it's another very prestigious project for the sonar transducer assembly, which weighs approximately 5 tons. We have something that's called a gear assembly for it. Now, for the sonar calibration, there is a requirement that this whole assembly is it projects out of the ship and it is required to rotate. So at some time, when it was earlier imported from Todd, UK and Atlas, Germany, through NPOL, we went about this project in 2014, where we said that we will indigenize it in totality. Now the product comes from HMT, and this is a standard fit across all naval platforms today. The BrahMos Aerospace in Trivandrum, BrahMos remains the mainstay for all our missiles program, and everything of a lot of missile space are presently being built, done by BrahMos Aerospace. A key takeaway from this, as indicated on the slide, see, what I believe that the industrial ecosystem has been on the forefront of the defense innovation and making significant contributions. We look at strengthening collaborations, and we believe that the potential is there in the industry to rise up to that, and we look at towards supporting us. The cost-effective indigenization, essentially, when it comes through the local industry, we realize that the equipment comes at approximately 40% of the cost of imports, which actually, firstly, it saves us money and it saves us a lot of foreign exchange. And then the capability of the industry to adapt to the technology transition is something which we have to build in. And lastly, I would actually today from the Ministry of Defense, we have signed the 350th contract for the IDEX. But somehow when I went through the list, we found that there are only 4 firms from Kerala, which is one from Trivandrum and 3 from Cochin. Actually, the IDEX scheme is something where today the government is, the Ministry of Defense is investing up to 25 crores in a project. So that means you can take up projects up to 50 crores, 25 crores by the firm and 25 crores for the government. But somehow from the Kerala ecosystem, the participation in that is less. With this, I again wish the forum all the very best, and thank you. And thanks for the patient listening, and look forward to further deliberations in this thing. Thanks.
Thank you, Rear Admiral Sharath Ashirwad. He gave us a peek into some exciting excerpts from India's story. And now, for his special address, I'd like to bring to the podium Dr. Divuri Sheshagiri, Director of NPOL. Hearty welcome, sir.
No presentation. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Dignitaries on and off the dais, industry of Kerala. Keltron, as a Rear Admiral was bringing out, who is our major partner. The other 2 partners are also, of course, here, Bell and BDL, apart from the private industries which are partnering with us in developing the sonars for different ships and submarines, which has been completely covered by Rear Admiral Ashirwad. So I will limit myself to aerospace, which is the area which I have worked for almost 22 years. And my journey in DRDO also coincided with the avionics of the airborne, airborne segment, including the surveillance and the fighter aircrafts. India today stands at a pivotal moment, leveraging its vast potential to become global leader in defense technologies. And I will highlight the strategic opportunities before us, DRDO's role, and how industry collaboration will drive our future. The opportunities that we have today, as was brought out by Levin sir, that we are the 4th largest military spender globally, with about 6.8 lakh crores spent per annum as of 25-26. The Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make India initiatives aim to achieve 70% self-reliance in defense production by 27, and we are about 50% today. Our industry, our aerospace sector is projected to grow at a rate of 8.5%, with the aviation market alone expected to be worth 23 billion by 2031. We have UAVs, we have fighter aircrafts, we have surveillance platforms like AVAX, which are developed indigenously today. I'm proud to tell that the LCA alone has around 700-800 aircrafts. The LCA Mark 1, Mark 1A class has about 230 aircrafts. The LCA Mark 2, which is going to come with around 200 aircrafts. AMCA, which is a Gen 5 aircraft, that also is about 200 numbers. And TEDBF for the Indian Navy, it is planned, it's a deck-based fighter aircraft, about 50 numbers. So put together we are looking at, and of course the rotary wing helicopters, put together we are looking for, on average, about 1,000 aircraft that are going to come in the next 20 years indigenously developed. Though there is a small proportion which we are importing today, which I think is not going to be there tomorrow. The other segment, which is the AWACS, because I have worked personally in the AWACS as a developer of the radar. AWACS radar today, probably ours is one of the best in the world, beating all the ranges of other similar radars which are there on aircrafts across different platforms. India has, of course, about 3 numbers of our indigenous systems, and also similar number from Israel. But I understand from Air Force that our systems are performing much better than the imported system, which is a proud moment for the Indian industry. Bulk of the AWNC or the LCA development was all, I think about 70–80% of the machine system of AWNC is indigenous, only the aircraft being imported. In the segment of fighter aircrafts, I think we are almost about 70–80% indigenous there also, except the engine which you are all aware of. And necessary steps are being taken today to see that the engine also is going to be indigenized soon. I also have played a little role in the development of the radar for LCA. And this radar, which is also competing with similar radars from similar countries, and we find that our radars are performing much better than the imported radars. The avionics is about 30% of any aircraft, and today the avionics part is completely indigenized. We do not have any part of the avionics which is being imported. So if you are looking at a market value of anything like 3 lakh, 4 lakh crores for the aircraft, you can imagine 1/3 of which should be 1 lakh, 2 lakh crores. That is the worth of the avionics which is being developed in India in the coming days. This was made feasible by a strong partnership which we had in these two projects or programs with the Indian industry, be it private DPSUs, be it private sector, because generally DRDO does not develop the hardware by itself. It is either it is built to print or built to spec, and basically because of the maturity of the industry that it is today, we are looking at more build to spec than build to print. Some of the examples have been covered by Rear Admiral before me. India currently imports about 50% of defense equipment, as was discussed earlier, but we have a large potential to see that this comes down faster, and we are going to have contemporary systems across different sectors of the defense. Several critical factors are driving the rapid expansion of Indian aerospace and defense industries. The increase in defense spending that has seen 13% rise in 2023 reflects the government's commitment to strengthening national security. About the interest of Kerala in these, Sarad Asirwad Sahab has already brought out, but in NPOL we are striving to see that multiple of our projects, Keltron is going to be a part, and also, of course, we have BDL here, and we are looking forward that the Kerala industry is going to be playing a much bigger part in the coming days. One of the, I'll just sum up with one project, which is, I hope I finished within the time specified, is the midlife upgrade of Su-30 program. This is one of its kind, because the aircraft belongs to SDB, Sukhoi Design Board, and the indigenization of this is happening in India, where we are trying to completely replace the avionics with the Indian avionics, all the weapons also to be Indian weapons. The radar that is going to be going on this aircraft is named Virupaksha. Virupaksha being Shiva, symbolizing the third eye. Third eye of the of Shiva is the radar Virupaksha. Symbolizing that, we have named it after Shiva. And this radar is going to, is going to be the largest radar in the world with the largest range across all the similar radar houses across the world. So this is one of the major programs that is embarked by Indian Air Force, and I think the Indian Navy is also following suit in the sense that the MiG-29K also is going to have a complete upgrade with the indigenous avionics in the coming days. Kerala offers significant opportunities for aerospace and defense innovation and collaboration in India, driven by its strong research ecosystem, as was brought out by Levin sir, with the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, of course our NPOL, and as was again brought out, the BrahMos Aerospace Unit in Trivandrum. Additionally, the state is has a thriving electronics and IT sector. It creates synergy for different applications, including avionics, AI, and cybersecurity. With the government's push, which we are seeing here today, for the self-reliance under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, Kerala stands as a potential hub for industry-academia collaboration, R&D partnerships, and indigenous technology development in aerospace and defense. As a conclusion, as we move forward, collaboration will be key to unlocking India's full potential in aerospace and defense. I come from a state, incidentally, which made the steel for the Damascus knives in the Middle Ages. In Telangana, the steel, carbon steel, what was used for the Damascus knives, which are probably the best knives across, were the smelters of Telangana were making these steel. I urge industry leaders, investors, and policymakers to join hands in this journey of innovation and self-reliance. By leveraging our collective strengths, for fostering cutting-edge research, and building a world-class defense manufacture ecosystem, we can position India as a global leader in aerospace and defense technology. Together, let us innovate, collaborate, and transform India's defense landscape for a secure and self-reliant future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Duvuri Sheshagiri. Collaboration is indeed the way forward, and we are going to hear a lot more ideas about this in a panel discussion now, going to be moderated by Mr. G. Levin. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with Dr. Subbarao, who has been with ISRO for a short period and then moved to the partnership. And he has been associated with ISRO and defense for a long time. And he's having the right exposure to Kerala as well. Thank you.
Good. Namaskar. Distinguished panelists on the dais and distinguished personalities in the audience. Basically, I don't want to teach anything about what Kerala has. I think we are talking about what Kerala has already been explained in plenty by earlier speakers. In Kerala, everything samruddhi, everything excess, everything plenty. So if you look at the strengths of Kerala, if you look at education or water or greenery, everything is plenty here. Innovation, everything is plenty here. But in order to attract more investments to Kerala, what is to be done? That is the prime point that we want to discuss here now. and also attract as much investment as possible. That's the idea. I come from different state, not from Kerala. Actually, I'm Kerala Karai. I can speak in Malayalam, I can read and write Malayalam, all that is also very well on that. Because I studied in Kerala, worked in Kerala, then I have my center in Trivandrum, wherein we work for the space-related activities on that. I've been observing about the innovation part of Kerala compared to other places where we have been working on that. We are located in Andhra, Karnataka, then of course many other locations also. But Kerala is innovative everywhere. In every sector is innovative. In fact, I find more capitalism in Kerala than rest of the country. This is one of the important points that we have to note on that. Psychologically, you can say that, everything is going to be good in Kerala. You just imagine a country like Israel with plenty of water, lot of greenery all around, with its own innovation. That is what Kerala is. We have everything of the innovation of Kerala, the Israel or Japanese, we have in Kerala too on that. But what is to be done by the government in order to attract more and more investments into this? That is what, I think the mindset of the governance has to change. The governance has created very good infrastructure, KSIDC, Kinfra. I have my friend Jayanandam here, and who have been very, very supportive to us for setting our industry in Kerala. And they have been very, very supportive to every aspect of, get going the industry as such on that. So everything is good in that. But the government has to change the mindset from that of land allocation to what else can be done on that, beyond that. Because allocation of land, allocation of certain incentives for the land related or registration related, they are very, very small thing which was done, there's a kind of a thing which was discovered about 2 decades ago. Now, if you look at Kerala as such, and the urban population and the rural population in Kerala is equally spread, in the sense that the education has to be taken to the rural masses, to rural areas. Why should one come to a university, into a cities for an education? And during COVID time, all of us learned that sitting at home, we also can get into digital highways, like a video conferencing, and we can learn many things in that. In order to do that, what type of digital highways are required to be built for a state like Kerala? Under those digital highways, to build the digital highways, again, we need something like the satellites. Under satellites-related activity, a lot of things are happening already in Kerala. We have Vikram Sarabhai Space Center here, which has been doing a great innovative work. And you find 80% of them coming from Kerala only, and Kerala very ordinary engineering colleges, not from IITs alone on that. So that only indicates the innovativeness of the Kerala people in order to find out things. Today we landed on the moon and the South Pole. The entire credit goes to Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, the scientists from Kerala only on that. That's what makes all of us proud in this country on that. Now, how do we build on this next time in that? So therefore, we wanted the government of Kerala to invest more into the satellites building. And what we are talking about Make in India, we also should have a component like Make in Kerala in order to encourage the industries in that. In fact, we have our friends here sitting. There's a lot of startup companies on that. And those startup companies also require a lot of support for the government of Kerala. And it is Kerala we can build the multiple satellites for the Earth observation systems. It has a long coastline and a lot of greenery in that. In fact, carbon credits, that is the greenery that Kerala has today, can be converted into carbon credits, can be traded internationally on that. That itself can give a lot of income to Kerala. That can happen only by surveillance, monitoring, using the satellites data once again on that. So therefore, my request is, Kerala government should think since we are talking about Invest Kerala, I request the panel under Mr. Levin to strongly recommend to the government of Kerala to think more innovatively in terms of supporting the innovativeness into this Kerala system, ecosystem on that. To attract Keralites back to Kerala, invest into Kerala, and do many more things for Kerala itself on that. Thank you very much, and I'm sure that I'm talking something which I experienced in Kerala itself on that by investing in Kerala. And I expect all of you to also do so. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Dr. Subbarao touched upon where we are lacking. I think it is a good lesson. I think we will come back. We'll proceed to Mr. Rajnish Sharma for your opening remarks, please.
Dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and everybody present here, a very good morning. Well, it's a matter of pride and honor for me to be here amongst you for this summit, Invest Kerala Global Summit. Well, when we think of Kerala, the first thing that comes to my mind is God's own country. So that is the position which Kerala has in heart and mind of each one of us. Well, taking the subject forward, I really appreciate the kind of concern that Government of Kerala has started to build upon to look towards taking Kerala on the path of progress. Kerala was one of the first districts, Kerala holds one of the first districts that was with 100% literacy, Ernakulam, that we know and we have been reading all through our academia. Kerala has always held a very special position, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, the NPOL, and various other establishments that have taken Kerala on the growth path. As far as public sector, Bharat Electronics is concerned, our association with the industry here in Kerala has been phenomenal. We have been associated with the DRDO labs, NPOL, the MSMEs, SFO, Vajra, and likewise. They are key contributors to our product development that we are supplying to the CSL. Our association with Keltron for some of the key projects that we have been taking up, like the Marich torpedo ATDS system, some of the sonar systems that we are developing along with the NPOL and delivering to the Indian Navy. BEL has been associated in both defense as well as aerospace systems. However, in aerospace, we do not have much association with the industries present here in Kerala. However, we have been delivering products to the HAL, many of the key platforms that are being delivered as a part of the Tejas and various aircrafts that we are doing in the country. Well, when we talk of MSMEs, in fact, as a public sector organization, we are supposed to conduct at least 25% of our procurement through MSMEs. And that gives a good potential for MSMEs to come join hands with us, with Bharat Electronics, and we can take them together in developing their products together with them and handhold them so that they become a strong supply chain for us to be able to cater to the requirements of Indian defense. When I talk of Indian defense, it is not only the Navy alone, it is the tri-services and the paramilitary forces, because our product profiling is defining each and everything. Just to talk about Bharat Electronics, as we are, I suppose many of you know, but for the information of others here, we are a 70-plus-year-old defense public sector, which came up in 1954, a Bangalore-based industry, and we have a presence across the nation. Around 9 units we have presently, and we are coming up with 5 more units, and we are catering to nearly 29 key domains of technological development. We have strategic business units which cater to specific business in those technical domains, be it communication, radar systems, avionics, electronic warfare, space applications, then EW systems for land and naval systems, then different kind of radar systems, NC3I solutions for defense applications. So this is a big field. In fact, in the civil market, we have a big presence in the name of EVMs, which most of us will be aware of. Bharat Electronics is delivering the electronic voting machine to Election Commission of India. So this defines our product profiling, and that also gives a good opportunity for the MSMEs and the industries in Kerala to join hands with us, and we can, together, we can develop products and register progress. With these words, I thank you once again for inviting Bharat Electronics here for this summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajneesh. So we'll move on to Commander Madhav Rao. Commodore Madhav Rao.
A very warm good morning to all of you. And firstly, I should start with thanking the Kerala government and KSIDC for organizing this activity here and inviting us to share our thoughts on the industry perspective of aerospace. I should also thank Admiral Nair, MD Keltron, who has been responsible to push me to come here. It has been indeed a great experience seeing the vibrant environment that has been created over the last yesterday and today. If I take from what was spoken by the heads of the Kerala government yesterday, they have laid a roadmap, they have laid down the foundations and for a lot of building blocks that are necessary for industry to prosper in any place. One of the key takeaways that I look at from yesterday's talk was that the continuity in the policy with the government, with the previous government to the current government, I think those are the essential points for any industry to look forward in making their own contribution to the nation building. Just a quick brief to all about BDL. BDL, Bharat Dynamics Limited, is a defense public sector unit set up about 54 years back in Hyderabad to manufacture missiles. So when you talk about aerospace industry, we're all aware of the rockets, the ISRO and part of the story. The parallel aspect, apart from the aircraft, is the missile and the weapon systems associated with all the 3 defense services. BDL has been entrenched in this activity for a long time now. 54 years has been a long period. We do a lot of activities with respect to I just quickly go to the activities that we do. We make missiles, launchers, the ground equipment, and both the underwater weapons, decoys for both underwater and airborne decoys. And missiles need refurbishment because they have chemicals in them as part of their propulsion systems and their warheads, which have to be replaced periodically. That is what is refurbishment and life extension of missiles. And lately, with the help of the developments at DRDO, largely, we have moved into the weapons that are launched from aircraft. So the integration of missiles on aircraft is another vertical that we are working on. So if you look at what is the role that a defense PSU has to play in enhancing the industry in general and making the country self-reliant or Atmanirbhar, I would like to bring out my understanding on this topic. As a big company, it is our role to take everybody who is involved in this ecosystem along and play the catalytic and pivotal role of synergizing the efforts of all these stakeholders. Today, we are interacting with DRDO, and in Kerala, NPOL is our main DRDO center with whom we interact continuously, and along with Keltron, the other local industry partner, we have been contributing to the various developments of NPOL, productionizing their designs and bringing products to the Navy in particular. Similar role is played by us with the complete missile group in Hyderabad and other centers of DRDO, where we are partners to the DRDO in the development process, and we take on the manufacturing of these weapons thereafter. Lately, we have started working on R&D ourselves, finding the gaps where there are various small weapons where there is a need for R&D, where whilst DRDO focuses on the larger and the newer niche technologies, we are focusing on those technologies where there's a gap. And also we have partnered with various foreign OEMs to bring in new technology like what Admiral Ashirvad had brought out, where the government policy is to make in India, under the Buy Indian scheme, where you can have a product with 60% indigenous content, is a good scheme where we can partner with our foreign friends to bring in the technology where there's a gap quickly and make the product available to the defense services. Apart from that, the ecosystem of the startups and the MSMEs, which has been growing rapidly in the last decade, if I may say. Here, what are the strengths of the MSME, in my opinion, is the innovativeness, the initiative, and the agility, which some of us in the larger companies find it difficult. So it is the synergy between the MSME startups and the bigger companies like DPSUs and other companies like Mahindra, Tata's, etc., can bring out indigenous products not only for our armed forces but for the globe. And even in the foreign OEM partnerships, the trend has been to partner with the OEMs for producing things for India as well as for the global industry by being their global supply chain partner. It is the matter of identifying the areas of our strengths. Like, I can see a lot of young people here. I'm sure they have budding engineers and scientists who would like to make their mark in this world. To find your strength, work on your instincts and come out with original ideas. And I can assure you that companies like us will stand behind you and support that. The government both the central and the state are doing a lot for supporting the innovativeness like what Admiral Ashirwad had brought out and Mr. Levin had also brought out about the various initiatives, whether it is IDEX, whether it is Aditi or the various space parks and defense parks that are being set up by the governments. It is for us to take the initiative to utilize these in converting our ideas into designs and products. I can assure you that BDL as a defense PSU, we have taken that step. We are partnering with many MSMEs and startups for design development also. And we have invested in some of these startups to support them financially to take up innovative designs. So with that, I think many of the speakers yesterday and today have spoken about the initiatives that the Kerala government has taken. The government of India is supporting many of these activities for the defense sector especially, and there is a great need of indigenous products for our defense services. So I would only say that as BDL, we would like to be partners to everybody and anybody who would like to work in this area and take things forward. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Should I request Mr. Jaspir Singh Solanki?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It's truly a privilege and honor to be here today. I thank Kerala government. I thank Admiral Nair to specially invite us and be part of it. Kerala state and Cochin city has a special place in my heart. So almost 25 years back, I started my professional journey from this city. So I was in the Navy. I came here. This was my first appointment. And I started another journey from here. There was a ship called INS Tarangi, it's still there. So it started circumnavigating from Cochin in 2003. So from Cochin, it was launched. I was part of this crew. So truly privilege and honor to be back here again after 23 years as one of the CEO of the defense company. So thank you very much. A lot has been spoken about aerospace and defense. So I'll touch upon 3 points and 3 takeaways, what I see. First is the direction. Second is the ecosystem, and the third is the mindset. So it's not the speed, it's not the velocity with which you are moving. Sometimes it is important which directions you are going. So I believe the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Make in India movement, the IDEX program which are happening, the startup ecosystem which is being created, it is all going in right direction. So I think aerospace and defense industry is going to grow. It is moving in the right direction. So that's the first takeaway. The second, ecosystem. It is very important to get the government together, to get the industry together, get the academia together, get the R&D, and get the startup ecosystem together. It has started happening in India. It's not happening like it's in Israel. It's not happening like in US. But are we catching up? Yes. That gives us a good comfort. Will we reach there or exceed that expectation? Probably yes, if we work together and move in that direction. The third point, which is very important, is the mindset. And that's where we have to work upon the thoughts that cheap and best product can be developed. We have to take it out. It is good to have a cost-effective solution and product, but it's also important to have budget for if you want to create a differentiated technology in the world. So very important to provide budgets for your program. That's very important to change your mindset. If you want to compete in the global market, we have to bring the best in us. So that mind shift has to change. The mindset of being a trader and a developer. We have enough done trading. Can we develop products which can go across the world? So that's mind shift change. I think that's the third point. If we do that, there'll be a substantial change in the way we operate in aerospace and defense. Just to bring out another interesting, important point is most of you might not be aware, Mahindra Group started in 1945. So, sir, our Defense Association goes back to 1945. We started providing jeeps to the defense forces. Okay, so before the Bell started, the BDL started, as a private company, Mahindra Group started in the space. So there's a space exists for private and DPSUs and industry startups to all work together. We cannot follow US model where all companies are private defense contractor. We can't follow Israel model where 50% is the government company, approximately 50% is the private company. The private is also like government also. There, everybody is being validated. People move around in the government and in private sector very freely. We have to come out with something which is good for India, where coexistence happen and innovation happen. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Ben? Yeah, please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to all of you, and thanks especially for the very warm welcome throughout the last days, as especially you helped me to escape minus 10 degrees Celsius from the north of Germany. So well done, and I recovered. You may ask why I'm here and what ELAC Sonar could possibly provide to Kerala industry, Kerala economy. And keep the tension high, I will come back to this in a minute. Here we are. So, where does ELAC Sonar come from? It's from the high north in Germany. If there's any Scandinavian among you, it's the south of Scandinavia, but it's the true north of Germany. And Kiel, our hometown, is the center of excellence in Germany for all maritime, naval, industry, R&D, and it's our home turf as well, which is a very good provision for talents and also for orders. We have the NATO confined and shallow waters center of excellence in there as well. We do foster our good relation to the German Navy's R&D for all the technology areas where we are very fond of and which we would like to provide not only to the German Navy but also to the navies abroad. So where do we come from on the timeline, and a bit already a hint on the portfolio. So it's 99 years of ELAC back in the 20s, and I take this forward now. It's 40 years of supporting the Indian Navy. So we started this, I guess, mid-80s for the SSK program, and we delivered to the Indian Navy the echo sounders, the underwater comm systems, and there's more ahead, which will also explain why we are here. Right now, it's all about underwater acoustics for surveillance purposes, for safe navigation of submarines, and for the communication between the submarines and their peers abroad and on the surface. What we have established throughout the last years, and this is partially thanks to our, let's say it, pivot back to Europe, is that we now provide fully integrated sonar systems to submarines, to European navies, and again, also to Asia, and hopefully soon to India. These sonar systems provide outstanding performance for diesel-electric submarines. They are German engineered, it's no ITAR or anything among this. They are fully digitalized. The full functional chain is included, from data acquisition to all the functions, to the processing and the presentation of data to the operators. a few facts. The single site we operate is in the very middle of Kiel. It's now a bit more than 230 people at staff, more than 80 wholehearted engineers, all focused on hydroacoustics and the processing of the according data. It's all in-house, from the water tank to the test facilities, and most importantly, to all the people. And we are more than warmly welcoming all our customers to that site to show real life, real products. And products, they range from small digital transducers, that size, up to 1 meter 20, 250 kilogram digital transducers for the flank array of sonars. Last but not least, to quote my German Chief of Navy, we are locally rooted, but globally committed. And I mentioned the pivot to Europe. Our home turf, when it comes to end use, was always east of Germany, and mainly into the Asian, Southeast Asian, also Indian area. So it's now complementing both areas. And why is that? We dedicate ourselves to the support of the navies to allow free trade on the waters, not harassed by anybody, but the navies should get the best to do their job. And I mentioned the portfolio a bit, and you saw on the starting slide our motto, which means open-minded naval systems. So we dedicate ourselves to cooperation with partners in country based on open standards we use in our systems, and we commit 100% to open standards, which then allows partners to contribute into the system or to take over parts of the scope of supply or even the majority of the scope of supply. So we then share the success in a project. And now the answer. We are here to do more together with the industry in Kerala State. And after the closing remarks of the chairman, I'm more than happy to welcome Vice Admiral Nair over here to exchange our MOU we have now at hand for a joint provision of an integrated sonar system for P75I. So we are striving for this jointly, and I'm more than happy to look forward to our joint cooperation. But, Chairman.
Thank you. We have a time for a quick final remarks from all of the panelists. We'll start with Rear Admiral Sarath Ashirwad. Sir, we are developing the port-based economy, the activities. You heard about the Vizhinjam port development, the proposed Puvar shipbuilding venture, and the Aerial port, and other small ports getting developed. How you see the prospects of these activities, how it is going to help the economy?
So this, what I look at is that, firstly, we have done some exercises to see, one is from an operational front and one is from a support front. So we have done some exercises to see whether the Navy is able to operate off Vizhinjam port, and it has come to fore that it can be done. Second part of it is, as far as from a support point of view, sir, I think even though a lot of things, as we said, that 60% is made in our country, and 60% has to be made in India, but that means 40% has to come from somewhere abroad, and it is not easy to bridge the gap that easily. So we believe that certain segments of it still has to come, and having a Vizhinjam port close to the environment, the ecosystem, I think it's definitely going to make a huge impact on the time taken for things, and in as time passes by, one of those, and we look forward to that. It's going to help us in a big way in times to come.
Thank you. Actually, I request Dr. Sheshagiri. Sir, basically, I think we have to see how the R&D and innovation ecosystem can help the development of high-end avionics systems and other sophisticated equipments within the state and within the country.
We are actually in DRDO looking for a quadrilateral or a square system where the user, that is the armed forces, the academia, the industry, and the DRDO, they come together to make products in such a way what is useful for, and it's going to be the futuristic system. In this regard, there are multiple colleges and institutes across India. We are actually doing research along with under a program called COA, Center of Excellence, COE. And also we have a large scale, about 25% of the money allotted for DRDO, we are investing into the industry so that the industry ecosystem is going to improve. And there is a technology development fund that has been allocated by the DRDO to see that the Indian industry is going to get a large chunk of development that is going to happen. And most of the time, as I was bringing out earlier, we are looking at development of all the hardware that we are going to use. We are only being the system designers, and all the hardware is going to be developed by the Indian industry. And generally, we are looking forward to make these indigenously, so that the import component is going to be much, much less than previously when we are developing. As I was bringing about, we are looking at in different airborne systems that we have developed, less than 30% which is going to be imported, and so also is the case in our sea surveillance. So, this is where we stand, that we want to look forward to have the industry and the academia along with as two arms of DRDO, so that we can go together to meet the requirements of Indian Armed Forces.
Thank you. Dr. Subbarao, you have been on the activities, space activities, and you have the experience both with defense and ISRO. Coming to the space data application side, what are the business prospects? What do you have to do to enhance the application side? Because that is the customer base which will create the demand for satellite and downline. So definitely the application side requires some sort of a focus. So what is your take on?
In fact, applications have, the satellite applications have immense potential in Kerala. Number one is on the infrastructure development part, because that is both monitoring, surveillance, and activities by the government and by the individuals, number one. Number two is related to forests. We have a huge greenery in Kerala, and the forest mapping and the forest utilization part. That becomes another effective one on that. In fact, a lot of urban areas in Kerala too today, like Cochin, etc. And not only mapping and monitoring, but also tax collections, the urban services provision, like these very, very applications are there in that. More than anything else, the most advantageous thing that Kerala can have is on the carbon credits. That is by monitoring the forests and the greeneries around and making them sure that, we'll get into the carbon credit, that means carbon absorption part of it, that can be monitored, that can be also traded internationally on that. That is, the Kerala has the immense advantage in that area. That's where I want Kerala to take advantage of the satellite data, and for monitoring this part of it, also specific satellites can be launched by the Kerala, and we have a lot of startup companies here in Kerala, and those companies can design new payloads and the new, very innovative applications for that part of it into it, and so that entire platform can be also built into it. That's where we require the government of Kerala's support to invest further in Kerala by many youngsters here on that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Shall I move to Mr. Rajneesh Sharma? Say, BL having 9 units across India and 5 more are under the construction. Can I invite you to come to Kerala? That is one question. The second part is, we are initiating a Center of Excellence on avionics and aerospace control systems. So, how do you see the prospects in these 2 domains for Kerala?
Well, sir, as far as this, you have already invited Bell. Anyway, my presence is here, so Bell is already invited. So I shall say it like that. We are coming up with 5 units more, as I said, in different parts of the country. However, in Kerala, we do not have any other unit. However, we have the product support center and the waterfront facility here in Kochi itself. So that is our small presence in Kerala as far as it is concerned. But talking about the aerospace and aerospace park which you said, sir, in times to come, the satellite imagery is going to be a very big business domain. And that is one area where I presume that certain startups or some companies, they can join hands, they can invest, because this is one of the prime domains which is going to be there in the next decade. So this is one potential area where I feel Kerala can be a good contributor to the national repository of imageries. Presently, we are dependent on all these kind of things to certain world majors. I'll not name here, but this is one big potential, very big potential, in fact, which is going to be there in future. However, we will definitely look into the possibilities of joining hands with some of the industries. In fact, I invite some of the startups to approach us, and we will evaluate their innovative ideas and their products, what they are working upon, their concepts, and we can build further upon them, and that can be a good way we can go ahead with developing the industry per se in Kerala. Well, on the IDX part, I think everybody here is well aware that Government of India has been pushing this across largely, and this is one of the prime activities or agenda points that we are driving from our corporates as defense PSUs and PSUs. So I look forward to associating with the young brains here, innovative brains here through IDX and through whatever platforms or startups to come approach us, and we will be able to take the concepts forward. Thank you.
Thank you. May I request Mr. Commodore Madhav, say we have been trying to penetrate the defense industry opportunities. Apart from the BrahMos Aerospace, so far Kerala could not achieve much. So can you give some sort of a idea which will help us to penetrate the opportunities in the defense sector? Sir.
Yeah, with respect to the defense sector, with my background of the Navy, I would say that the warfare scenario is changing, and the unmanned vehicles, whether it is air or underwater or on water, is what is emerging as the new mechanism of engaging your adversaries. So the initiative of the drone park, which has been taken up, I think is the right direction, where there are a whole lot of MSMEs in the country who have jumped into this. And I think Kerala can also definitely come into this sector. And we at BDL are looking at weaponizing these drones for the applications that are required for the armed forces. So we can collaborate in those aspects and work on this sector which is emerging, and so therefore you will not feel behind, and you can match the current progress. That is one, and just a little deviation from that, with the ISRO going for private sector for launch vehicles, BDL is also trying to become the partner in the small satellite launch vehicle assembly, integration and manufacturing. I think that is another area where we can collaborate with many companies. Just for the information, as of today, we are already working with about half a century of companies in Kerala under the defense industry. There are many companies which have been identified by NPOL and DRDO who are working with us. So that can be enhanced by more interaction, I guess.
Thank you. We'll finally come to Mr. Jasbir Singh Solanki. Say the Mahindras have been one of the first private industry to penetrate into the defense segment, right? How do you see the prospects of engaging some of the collaborations with the local ecosystem in entering into the defense segment? Because we have so much of talent here, how we can make use of these talents for the collaboration?
Thank you. And before I answer your question, sir, just a statement that whatever I am expressing, these are my personal views, not my organization views, so don't take it that way. So our origin, what I mentioned, was because of, after World War II, we started importing jeeps in India, and that's how our association with defense goes, and we are continuing. We work in mission mode approach, so that's whatever program we take it, we ensure that we deliver it to the best of the quality. As part of our value system and RISE pillar, we always create value in the community which we operate. We always look for more Indian solution, more startups. In fact, I can share that 2 of our employees in last 4 years have gone out and they have started their own startup. One in anti-drone system, another in command and control. And we are very proud of them. Okay. And we are helping them as a large organization, how we can extend that support from our side. And the similar, we go out and look for talent. We go and look out for startup. Whenever we get a large program, we make sure that the piece of it is shared with the ecosystem in that way.
Thank you. Okay. Due to shortage of time, shall we limit to 1 or 2 questions from the audience? Yeah, please.
I am Commodore Arvind Sharma, CEO of MSME. My question is to Rear Admiral ACM ITNS. Well, India is progressing well towards Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat. But my question is, under this process, if a foreign company is interested in providing cutting-edge technology, how can they be encouraged?
Actually, sir, in this field, what happens is today, the system allows us to do that. In case if suppose if a foreign firm is willing to participate, and see, there are some cases which we've taken up in IDEX, but the condition is that you need to have a complete technology transfer. It can't be that most of the cases that I've come across, it happens that he is not willing to do a complete transfer. He is only trying to do a partial thing so that he still holds the IPR, which is not accepted as per the under the Government of India's thing. In fact, even in Make 1, there have been an instance where two companies participated, and one of them, he had a foreign partner who was not willing to do a transfer of IPR. Then what happens is because of that, it came to only a single vendor, and finally we have I think already placed the order on that one company. As far as MSME is concerned, it is the same story. So it has to, if you are participating with a foreign vendor, the condition that he has to transfer the IPR has to be met. Without that, it will not go through.
What about Make 3?
In Make 3, it's possible, sir. But even in that case also, sir, finally the requirement is that, see, there are a couple of times when it comes to these contracts, what happens is the foreign country, generally if you're dealing with a Russian country, the law in Russia doesn't allow you to transfer IPR. So then what do? You write in the particular agreement, you write that he will transfer that much of information which will allow his Indian counterpart to independently manufacture and support a system. Something like that, we are working around that, and there are instances where this has been implemented. So in all these schemes, the necessary condition is in IDEX, if the Government of India is spending money, whether it is in Aditi or IDEX schemes, the IPR has to be transferred. So in case if you are able to get a foreign participant to do that, it is most welcome, and there are cases which we have approved it, and those have passed muster for that.
Thank you, sir. Last question.
Mike.
Last.
Can we have the microphone there? This gentleman is here. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Gino George. I am the founder and CEO of Sign. We are a dual headquartered company in Sydney, Australia and in India, and we are in the sustainability tech. Rightly, Mr. Subrao already mentioned the carbon credits, and we are right in the center in order to measure the carbon credits across the sphere, and we are working with some of the global companies. My question is very specific to Bell and BDL.
Closer,
So if we want to establish a relationship in order to avail the space data, wherein we are already working with ISRO and iSpace, if we want to establish a relationship in order to get the space data with Bell and BDL, what is the best way that we can work together?
It's not very clear to me, your question, but however, maybe we'll interact after this, that will be better?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's not very clear to me.
Thank you. Due to shortage of time, I am not getting into the concluding part. Essentially, I feel our experienced speakers and chief executives, they have given away their great knowledge base and understanding on the topic, and given their opinions and insights. And I wholeheartedly thank every one of them for coming over here and giving their great opinions here. I feel in between we have done some industry promotion as well to justify the investment summit. So thank you everyone. A big round of applause for the panelists.
Thank you, respected moderators, speakers, and the panelists. But before we conclude this session on stage, we have a moment of fruition on the stage. We discussed various promise and potential of collaboration in this sector. But to truly show that in action, we are going to have something very special on the stage happen now. And for that, I'd like to bring on stage Captain Vice Admiral Sri Kumar Nair, Managing Director of Keltron. I'd like to welcome you back on stage, sir. With three gentlemen who are here on stage, Keltron is going to engage in some action that we're extremely proud of. Please take the center stage, sir. And now he will receive a purchase order worth rupees 25 crores from the NPOL director who's here, Dr. Duvuri Sheshagiri. This is for vertical projector array, a ship-based sonar as we know. A purchase order worth 25 crores. It's a momentous occasion for Keltron and our state. And that's not it. A purchase order worth rupees 77 crores from BEL director to managing director of Keltron, Mr. Rajneesh Sharma. This is for 85 Marich towed array, again ship-based sonar. And now, Mr. Burnsuke will exchange an MOU of development of submarine sonars, an MOU between Elec Sonar and Keltron. Okay, yes. A handshake symbolizing the understanding. And gentlemen, I request you to take the center stage and yes. And have a photograph taken with everyone. I'd also like to request Mr. Sri Kumar Nair to present a token of our appreciation to our moderator. Can we have a memento to be presented to our moderator, Mr. G. Levin? Please hand it over to Mr. Sri Kumar Nair. He will hand it over, yes. I'd like to bring on stage at this moment Mr. Ajit Kumar K, who's the Executive Chairman of Board of Public Sector Transformation. Welcome, sir. He'll be presenting a memento to the other speakers and panelists on stage. Starting with Dr. Duvuri Sheshagiri, Director of NPOL. That's Mr. Ajit Kumar K presenting a memento to Dr. Duvuri Sheshagiri. Next, to Rear Admiral Sharath Ashirwad VSM. Dr. Pavluri Subbarao, Founder and Managing Director of Anand Technologies Limited. Mr. Rajneesh Sharma, Director of Bharat Electronics Limited. Mr. A. Madhav Rao, Chairman and Managing Director of Bharat BDL. Mr. Jasbir Singh Solanki, Chief Executive Officer of Naval Systems with Mahindra Defence Systems Limited. And finally, Mr. Bernd Zuke, Managing Director, Elec Sonar from Germany. Gentlemen, before we take one final group photograph, I'd like to request our Principal Secretary, Mr. Mohammed Hanish, who's here. I request you, sir, to come on stage for a moment to join this group. It was a momentous panel discussion here, which culminated in getting some purchase orders, which are great moments for Keltron and our state, and we're really happy that you're present here to mark the climax of this panel discussion. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. The road of collaboration and innovation ahead is indeed promising, and that's what we gather from the numerous ideas that were shared here, from a wealth of experience from such diverse backgrounds of everyone on stage.